what is this guy? Pray for RFK Jr.? Oh my God.
Hey friends, breaking news if you haven't heard already. Donald Trump announced Robert Kennedy Jr. to serve as the Secretary of Health and Human Services. This is amazing in so many ways, but we need to pray for Robert Kennedy. We need to pray for Donald Trump, pray for Elon, because we know there are so many that want to come against them. Actually, demonic activity that wants to come against them.
Demonic activity. All right, first off, there's no way this guy is straight, right? That's not just me, right? This guy there's no such thing as fucking demons, bro. We're just animals, dude. We're animals, bro. These are the kind of people that are in RFK Jr.'s corner. These are the guys, dude. Maga, what is wrong with you people? You fucking says you think Jesus is gonna save you from this shit? Like, come on, man. Take care of the planet, take care of the people, and quit taking care of the billionaire class. All right?
My prayer is this. I ask God for 19 years to put me in a position where I could end the chronic disease epidemic.
Oh, yeah, dude. See, here we go, though. Are you ready? He prayed for 19 years to have God put him where he can end this epidemic. But, like, guys, he's not ending shit, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. I think there's nothing wrong with wanting to devote your life. I'm devoting my life right now to the spreading of truth and fighting against the red pill ethos. But I am under no illusion that I am going to, like, change all of humanity. This man, no matter how talented he is, he's not going to end chronic disease. Disease is a part of life, man. Is there shit we can do better? Sure. We can get rid of high fructose corn syrup. There's a lot of things we could get rid of. A lot of things we could do better and quit abusing the earth too, right? That's what it comes down to. In order for him to do any of this health shit, you want to take all the chemicals out of food? Fine. That's a host of regulations. That is a whole bunch of new, stringent regulations enforced by the government with a government commission that commands all the food companies toe the line. That's going to be factory inspections. That's going to be food packaging and processing inspections. And we all know Donald Trump's government is not going to do that. Do I want to get high fructose corn syrup out of food? Absolutely. Do I want to get rid of red dye number 40? Absolutely. But this motherfucker ain't going to do that because he is in an administration that will not put a single regulation on there. This guy is like Ronald Reagan. They're putting this guy ahead of the HHS so he can walk around telling you everything he's doing good for the world while Donald Trump's administration sticks a knife repeatedly right in our fucking backs, bro, and loots and extorts the shit out of us by removing every regulation. Dude, we'll end up with fucking donkey shit in our food. If some of Trump's friends have a donkey farm, you'll have donkey shit in your fucking Cheerios while RFK tells you he's ending fucking disease. The Donald Trump administration is not going to regulate any businesses. They are deregulators. The only thing they're going to regulate is women's uteruses and trans people's existences and putting a Bible in your kid's kindergarten class and forcing him to read scripture. They're going to regulate Hispanic people to live in fear and potential fucking deportation. But other than that, they're not going to regulate Nabisco. They are not going to regulate Coca-Cola. They are not going to regulate Kroger or Apple or Amazon or Walmart or Tesla or any of those companies ever, bro. Republicans have campaigned and executed nothing but rampant deregulation for corporations in my entire 55 years of being on this planet. They will regulate media companies if they say something bad about Trump. They will regulate a social media network if it doesn't let the white people say the N-word and use slurs against gay people. But they ain't gonna fucking regulate Nabisco and what they put in the food ever. The Republicans will not. I think the real thing that they're going to do if he gets in there, because his real thing, I know he's talking about this health and he's talking about the food dyes and the chronic disease, but we all know that RFK Jr.'s number one conspiracy obsession has been vaccines. He is a vaccine. That is all him, and you can see it. Him and Nicole Shanahan, fucking crazy eyes, bro. They are vaccine people. That's really what he's after. They want to dismantle and get in there and see if they can discover some type of evidence about vaccines. They're on this autism thing. And already, dude, like kids died of measles because of this guy. And measles outbreaks have been happening a little bit. You know why? Because people have been getting religious exemptions. They've been getting religious exemptions to vaccines. And like vaccines just saved the whole goddamn world, bro. Right? Were the COVID vaccines perfect? No, I'm sure they weren't. But goddamn, bro. Like imagine how many people would have died without the COVID vaccine. 9 million people died worldwide. It could have been, 20 times that. Imagine 180, 200 million people die in a year, in 2 years. That's ridiculous, bro. Like Donald Trump, he'll be happy if all the poor kids are saturated on TikTok, just scrolling their goddamn life away, buying some cheap Chinese shit created with one of Ivanka's trademarks. And that's my problem, is that Donald Trump is not going to put regulations on corporations. Would I be okay with regulations being enforced on corporations to make food healthier? Oh, hell yeah. I don't think we should have any unhealthy food, guys. I think if we go to the grocery store, there's no reason all our food can't be organic or sustainably produced and without extra sodium and without all those food dyes and that high fructose corn syrup. There's no reason. But the thing is, these guys are not going to make that happen. There's no way, dude. But he is going to go after vaccines. And we knew this. Here's something interesting. It's another important thing to look at because RFK has been all about vaccines. That's been his huge thing. The claim that vaccines are like the rising cause of autism. Now, there is no distinct clarification for the rising cause of autism. Again, it may not even be rising. Autism may very well have always just been really prevalent, and we're just identifying it more. But this is really interesting, though, because RFK Jr. saying he never knew anybody who was autistic as a kid is particularly galling, considering his Aunt Eunice founded a day camp for kids with autism in 1962 and founded the Special Olympics in 1968. So part of Kennedy's little anti-vaccine campaign is based on lies. Because he says, I never saw anybody who was autistic when I was a kid, Kennedy claimed. Never, he said. He added that men his age, Kennedy is 70, don't have full-blown autism, which he defined as wearing helmets, not being toilet trained, and headbanging, stimming, toe walking. So first off, he has some crazy, outrageous idea of what full-blown autism is, which is some type of weird, like, television character wearing a helmet and soiling themselves. That's weird. Like, to him, autism is like somebody that's way on the far end of this shit. But this idea that he never saw any autistic people and they're only being caused by modern vaccines is uniformly untrue, because his aunt, Eunice, founded the Special Olympics and a day camp for autism. Camp Shriver. Eunice Kennedy Shriver is known for founding Camp Shriver, a summer day camp for people with intellectual disabilities that eventually evolved into the Special Olympics. In 1962, Shriver started Camp Shriver in her backyard in Rockville, Maryland, to explore the athletic abilities of young people with intellectual disabilities. So his family worked on autism and helping people with autism and other disabilities. You know he knows it, but he's acting like there were no autistic people.
Hey friends, breaking news if you haven't heard already. Donald Trump announced Robert Kennedy Jr. to serve as the Secretary of Health and Human Services. This is amazing in so many ways, but we need to pray for Robert Kennedy. We need to pray for Donald Trump, pray for Elon, because we know there are so many that want to come against them. Actually, demonic activity that wants to come against them.
Demonic activity. This guy is, I guess he's some religious guy, Dr. 𝗪𝗪, the revival generation, but demonic? Bro, what are we doing, dude? Holy
We need to
shnikes.
pray for Donald Trump, pray for Elon, because we know there are so many that want to come against them. Actually, demonic activity that wants to come against them. And finally, I just want to say this. You may not have known that when Robert Kennedy was running for president, he had asked Tony Robbins to be his vice presidential running mate. Now, obviously, Tony ultimately said no.
Tony
but that's an
Robbins!
interesting fact. So just want to throw that out there. So anyway, just with some red jacket energy, wanted to give that to you. Pray for Robert Kennedy Jr. now. Let me know.
Dude, where are we? Pray for RFK Jr. These are the kind of people that are in RFK Jr.'s corner, bro.
Breaking news, Matt Gaetz has been announced as Donald Trump's attorney general. The hammer of justice is coming, as Elon Musk said. This is phenomenal news. Keep praying, and I'll keep updating you with what happens, all right?
He is a social media influencer. I mean, look at what he's doing, dude. When pastors and pulpits are silent, God will raise up prophetic voices. But look at who he's got here. He's got Tucker Carlson, who is the biggest con artist out there, and Russell Brand, who now is converted to Christianity and right wing because he raped some women, and he knows that after you rape women, you got to go be a Republican because that's where all the rapists go. So this guy is a fucking con artist, bro. He's celebrating rapists and shit, and of course the rapist Donald Trump. But this is an act, boss. Pray for RFK Jr. There's demons. Like, come on, man. There's no such thing as demons, bro. We're just animals, dude. But we finally did find somebody who defended RFK, bro. Holy shit. But I think that tells you a lot about RFK, that that's his cheering section. His cheering section is that guy. Grifters upon grifters upon grifters. But I mean, dude, it's problematic that he was an environmental lawyer and now he's teaming up with a guy who denies climate change. It's problematic that he's a serial cheater who is still to this day unfaithful on his wife, but like somehow acts like he's this arbiter of, you know, supreme integrity. That's really problematic. And I mean, there's other things about him. They want to put him in charge of our health. But what does he do? He, you know, staged a weird bear death thing in Central Park that manipulated the news media, used up a whole bunch of public resources after he drove a bear around all day taking pictures with it. He decapitated a whale with a chainsaw and lashed it to his car and drove it home with his family with plastic bags on his heads. He just recently had a phone sex affair with a reporter covering his campaign. The motherfucker is 70. He had 37 affairs that he kept a journal with. His wife committed suicide because of it. He's still cheating on his wife at 70. This guy is not learned. This guy is not a good human being. He's engaged in all manner of vaccine conspiracies. He's denying the fact that his aunt was instrumental in treating autism way back when vaccines were not causing anything. She was one of the earliest people treating these types of things. He was accused of molesting his nanny and getting handsy, and which is another theme, right? Matt Gaetz, you know, Pete Hegseth, all these guys are kind of smarmy people in the Trump orbit. His wife killed herself when she found his erotic diary. He had 37 affairs. He kept a diary of them. His wife, who had some mental health struggles, found this diary. She ended up killing herself. 37 affairs, bro, and keeping a diary. That's extreme behavior. That is a person that is not healthy. This man is not healthy. And you might say, well, maybe he was unhealthy then, but now he got therapy. But no, we know he's not healthy because he literally just had secret affairs with the reporter covering his campaign. Checks notes like 4 months ago. So the thing about it is this guy was engaging in toxic, extremist, unhealthy behavior 20 years ago and 40 years ago and 4 months ago. Not only did he have a brain worm, which ostensibly is not something under his control, so I don't necessarily want to fault him for having a brain worm, but I will fault him for the mercury poisoning, because a guy who went to Harvard and is from the upper echelons of family money, that has access to all of the literature and the doctors and the therapy that one could afford in this lifestyle, for that person to eat so much tuna that they get mercury poisoning is a sign of somebody who is like not paying attention. A sign of somebody who is maybe like so regimented about the need to eat this tuna because it's good for him and he's on some sort of a fitness kick, but he ends up mercury poisoning himself because he's so obsessed with his tuna diet or whatever. That's, again, those types of behaviors are engaging in like self-harm under the guise of like self-improvement. That's a type of like mental condition. That's a type of like sociopathic, antisocial, self-help kind of behavior that, you know, those people also get into conspiracy theories and shit. And RFK is definitely one of those people. This is extremist behavior. We don't need extremists running the Health and Human Services, and extremists running our health departments and the FDA is probably not going to work out very well, guys. Just so you know, it feels like it could be very dangerous.